think you would agree. From 4 o'clock this morning, it was light here in London. So well done, and thank you to Iron King for your support and your stalwartness, your determination that this platform shall be 24 hours per day. Long may it continue so. Let me also compliment and recognize Galaxy management, those visionary leaders in the community who recognize the importance of our community owning and controlling media platform information conduits, if you like, where our views, our worldviews, our expressions are free to be heard without hindrances or others. Okay, so I want to compliment and of course recognize Chief Nana Pakambabai, yeah, the founder and leader of GalaxyAfiwi.net. I want to recognize, and I've been saying for a while, that Elder Erekute, my elder, I hope you're well. I look forward to some reasoning with you in the not too distant future. I want to recognize that inspired African man, that inspired Black man, if you like. Okay? I want to recognize Dr. Abu Ratata and his wonderful lady wife. I hope you're both well and stay strong. Praise be to you both. Praise be. I want to give a big shout out to the longest serving pilot here on GalaxyAfiwi.net. A big shout out to Nickel, yes, the most royal. What a lovely name, huh? Blessing, my brethren, blessings to you. Long may you continue your good works. I want to give a special expression of appreciation, a special expression of my recognition for the solution finder, for Empress Shanice. You know, when you listen to her, she's not moaning, she's constructing, she's building, she's forward thinking, you know? Yeah, solution finders. We all need solution finders in our networks, yeah? Solution finders are worth their weight in computer chips, yeah? I give recognition and praise to Empress Shanice. Long may your works continue. Long may your works continue. But I also must recognize that one of my regular guests here, Ndidi Chelwa, would note to us, there's not Africa's natural resources, which is the source of its wealth, it's the technologies that derive from those natural resources. So I want to give recognition to the engineers who's ensured that GalaxyAfiwi.net for more than 35 years is able to transmit across the airways, previously on FM, now on digital radio, now transmitting via social media platforms. I want to recognize, give appreciation to the engineers, the technologists. They're the ones who ensure that this radio station can continue all this time. And children, study technology, yeah? Art is wonderful, yes, wonderful. But technology is the future. Okay, study technologies. You know, think about the sciences. Think about the, and when I say the sciences, I mean the physics, the chemistry, the biology. Yeah, I want you to think about the genetic engineering. Yeah, I want you to think about those important subjects because they are the foundation of modern human civilization. Children, consider those subjects. And most certainly the basis of those subjects, as my guest, my wonderful guest of last week, Michelle, the mathlete, yeah? He became the world champion mathematician for age 3, age 8. So when I say age 3, what I really mean to say, of course, is in year group 3, which is age 8, yeah, worldwide. A girl from our community. I had to give recognition to her last week and her mother. We recognize and appreciate you. And Michelle, if you're listening, we are always here to give you whatever support you need. And mum, remember the community is around you. Remember, it takes a village to raise a child. We're here for you. Tell us what you need and it will be before you. Wasn't she wonderful last week? Oh yeah. So children, consider the sciences, consider mathematics as being a critical subject which you must acquire skills in. All right, that's the way to do it. That is the way to do it. Now then, I want to move on because I'm just conscious of time, and and the subject of this week has most certainly touched a number of people based upon the feedback I've received. Okay, look, the subject this week, as it's all around me, so it's quite obvious to those who are viewing us via Mixcloud, YouTube, or indeed Facebook, is Black Fathers. We love you. The Black Fathers Support Group is the organization we will feature today. And that's triggered a number of people. And later on, I explain why. But before I get onto that, I want to discuss health with you. I know for some people, this point they want to turn off. We're concerned, well, nothing wrong with my health, or my health is my personal business. It's true. But as an elected official as I am, I have to note that from a public health standpoint, my community, our community, suffers persistent health issues which are directly related to our lifestyles. I pause there, I want that to sink in. And now I'm reminded of a speech given by Professor Hilary Beckles, who is in fact the Vice Chancellor of the University of West Indies. And he noted this: there was an epidemic of diabetes amongst Black people, African peoples across the Caribbean. Similar statement to be made by the CDC in the United States of America. And the concerns have been expressed here in Britain. Unusually high levels of diabetes in the Black communities, those of us of African heritage. Why? Excessive consumption of sugar. So I'm not telling you not to consume sugar. I'll leave that to the health professionals, the doctors, nutritionists. And you recall Elijah Timop, the nutritional pharmacist who I had here a few weeks ago. Yeah. Excessive consumption of sugar creates in our body a numbness to convert that sugar into a form that our body can consume. Insulin is our principal means. What the nutritionist noted is that if excessive amount of sugar can cause the production of insulin in our body not to convert sugar in a form that is useful. It becomes toxic. And one of its forms is, of course, diabetes. Diabetes levels in our communities remain stubbornly high because we refuse, I repeat, we refuse to consider the amount of sugar that we are consuming. In your teas and coffees, those drinks in a tin, yeah, those cakes, yeah, excessive amount of sugar, way above what we normally would require in our daily routines. So I simply ask you, please, to consider the amount of sugar you are consuming, okay? And if you know you are consuming too much, please take steps to gradually reduce the amount of sugar you are consuming. I also ask you please to consider the amount of salt you are consuming and the effect that that might have on your body over time. It might not happening straight away or next week or next month or next year or the next decade, but the cumulative impact of salt, just like sugar, on our bodies. Heightened blood pressure, hardened heart rates, yeah, typical symptoms. I ask you to consider the impact excessive amount of sugar and salt will have on your bodies. They are truly, truly ingredients which we consume every day, but in quantities that are in the long term harmful to our bodies. So I simply ask you to consider reducing the amount of sugar and salt in your bodies. In my case, I've been able to stop purchasing salt from the grocery stores. I've significantly reduced the amount of sugar intake by more than 90% over the past 10 years. Okay. And I feel so much better for it. So much better for it. I also feel better now that I carefully control the amount of fat and carbohydrate that I consume. You know, I mentioned previously, go to a butcher store and you buy beef or other products, you see this white streak in the beef, yeah, that's simply fat. Or the lamb, and you put it on lamb on the grate and allow it just to, put in the oven and let the oils come out of it. The amount of oil that comes out of lamb, and indeed chicken and other meats, is astonishing. It's simply fat, and fat accumulates in our bodies. What's the impact? You know, these bloated arms, bloated chest, bloated thighs, bloated bottoms, As I said, some women, it looks interesting, but the long-term health impact, is devastating to our community. Excessive amount of fat is devastating to our community. And I just remind people that dairy products are simply another form of cow's fat, bovine fat. Cheese, it is hardened cow's fat. Butter, it's just another slightly not so hard cow's fat. Milk, bovine lactose, just another form of fat. It's all right for babies. For adults, well, it's questionable in the amount that we consume fat. So I simply ask you to consider the amount of fat you're ingesting into your bodies. And if in doubt, please don't take my word for it. Go to your GP, go to your doctor, go to your nutritional pharmacist, whoever is a qualified health professional who has access to your medical records. Speak to that person, not some random person on the internet. Speak to the person who has access to your medical records and is able to do the usual health checks on yourself to determine how much fat you're carrying in your bodies. Similarly to carbohydrates and starch. Carbohydrate is an interesting one because you know what happens in flour products? It looks very nice, but what happens? Our bodies ingest it and converts it and stores the sugar from the carbohydrate. It's converting it, I ask you to consider when you see these people with their slightly bloated bodies, what they're doing is storing excessive amount of food or fats or sugars in their bodies. And consider the long-term impact it has on you. Starch, rice, we convert to sugary products in our bodies. Yes, in moderation, all of these foods are fine, but we eat it in such large quantums each day. The cumulative impact over time for most people is harmful. In our family networks, our friends network, we know people with diabetes or hypertension or high blood pressures. Yeah, we know people with bloated bodies. Yeah, you see these women walking around these bloated bodies, and they think they look interesting. In some cases, it does make some interesting. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to encourage you to look interesting for men. I want you, please, to consider your long-term health. It's not good for you. It's not good for your families, those who love you. Or indeed, you've got to love yourself. So I want you to consider all of these facts. I know I do it every week. That's because the figures remain stubbornly high. I know we're having an impact, but still too many ignore the advice. I have friends who recently discovered they now have diabetes or hypertension. I mean, look at their lifestyle, look at their food consumption. It's little wonder. It's little wonder. And they very rarely exercise. Exercise is so important. You've got to exercise for at least 15 to 20 minutes a day. I know I used to say 5 minutes, but anyway, I'm told I should really be saying 15, 20 minutes a day. Even just a brisk walk, a brisk walk. But you've got to feel your heart racing. Your heart's got to race. You've got to feel it, You might perspire. That's a good sign. But you've got to exercise. Exercise is critical for a long, healthy lifestyle. Exercise is good. Please, hope this message is getting through to you. I know many of my community are very stubborn. I admit to being kind of stubborn myself. But I'm very rarely, I don't believe, stupidly stubborn. Not when it comes to my health. I'm not stupidly stubborn. So I simply ask you to consider the amount of exercise that you do each day. Brisk walk or run, or go to a gym, or do some weighting internally. Before I get on the show, I'd like to do my weights, and I can show you. These are quite heavy, I can tell you, But I enjoy it. I can feel my muscles flexing, and that's what they require, because in our usually sedentary lifestyles, we don't exercise our bodies enough. And what our bodies believe, we need to close down, die before our time. We can avoid that. And of course, we should all ensure we're drinking appropriate amount of water. Yeah, got my water here. Appropriate amount of water. Between 2 to 3 liters, go to your doctor, speak to your nutritionist. They will tell you the right quantum of water for you each day. Really important question to ask your doctors. Yeah. Of course, we should all be eating far more fruits and vegetables. Yeah. In far larger quantities than what we currently do. Fruits and vegetables, not the processed foods, fruits and vegetables. And to complement that, in some cases, no more than 5–10% of your total nutritional intake should be meat. I know it's tough, because when we had the pharmacist here, Elijah Timop, you recall what he said? We eat too much. We should be eating much more than our fistful. I haven't quite got there, Elijah. But, fistful, yeah? That's what he noted. We shouldn't be eating more than a fistful for each of our meals, okay? Because that's roughly the size of our stomachs, okay? But that takes a certain amount of discipline. That takes a certain amount of forward thinking, okay? I know these are tough messages for some people, and I completely get it, And these messages are hard to take in, okay? I get that. I get that. But you are me, I am you. Therefore, we've got to care for each other enough to share these messages together, okay? I hope the message is getting through to you. Exercise is good, yeah? Eating the right amount of fruits and vegetables is brilliant, you know? And of course, consuming no more than 5–10% of your total diet of meat, okay? But I get it. I know it's difficult. We've got to exercise. We're not exercising that you're preparing to die. I know I don't normally speak quite direct and profoundly, but it's true. If you're not exercising, you're preparing to die. Your body will close down, okay, which would be most unfortunate for you and your loved ones, those who love you. Anyway, that's enough of the health messages on that score. But do forgive me, I just got to make one last comment. This is a reminder of our good brethren and brother from Nottingham, Brother Kwame. He reminded us that whilst I've discussed the physical needs, we must never forget our mental and spiritual needs. Okay. And if you doubt about your current mental state, I wish to encourage you to seek professional advice. Go to your GP, go to your doctor. And of course, for your spiritual enhancements, okay, I recommend to you, if you're not part of a more spiritual group, meditation as a way of combating spiritual decline, okay? Taking deep breaths in and allowing yourself to settle, not allowing the cares of the world to interfere with your consciousness. I urge you to hear these messages. I urge you to hear these messages. Okay. All righty. Now let's continue with the show, and first of all let's take in a few other factors into account. I want to again compliment Michelle, the mathlete. We had on our show last week, and compliment her and hope that she will continue to go from strength to strength. And Mum, I wish to express my appreciation on behalf of the community to you. I know it's tough. Hey, we know it's tough. But remember, it takes a village to raise a child. We are here to give you whatever support you need. And Mr. Gordon, the head teacher of the Giblin School, I say to you, please continue with your great works, head teacher of that school. Okay, well done, sir. Well done. Well done. What I now need to do is move on to a previous guest of mine. And I'm just very conscious that my guest believes that I'm operating from the main Galaxy studios. I'm in a remote studio, my guest. Not sure why you believe otherwise, but anyway, there you go. And let's hope that my guest and I are able to interact soon, okay? From the Black Fathers Support Group, okay? So let me just, if I may, just point out that there are a number of events that are going to be held across the country in celebration of Windrush. We believe that the Windrush, so-called, okay, Windrush is one of those events that we should recognize. Because clearly, those of my mother's generation, indeed some of us in my generation, are affected by the current government's hostile environment. Okay, So there are a number of events which are underway right now to recognize Windrush. Okay. Here in Southwark, in Burgess Park, there's a Windrush festival that will be underway. Okay. I know that in Lewisham, that there is an event underway, and that event will celebrate the Windrush pioneers. And that event will be on the Thursday, the 14th of July, from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the Albany, which is Douglas Way in Deptford, very near, curiously enough, to the same school that Michel, the worldwide mathlete, attends. Okay, in Deptford, in South London. Okay, so I'll give a big shout out to that event. And it's curious that Lewisham is becoming a very interesting borough. I'm in the borough of Southwark, and it is interesting. In 2 weeks running, it does appear I will have organisation from my neighbouring borough of Lewisham. Southwark, those Africans, those black people in Southwark, we need to get our act together. We need to start competing with our brethren and our sisterins, our community in the neighbouring borough of Lewisham, because they do appear to be producing some impressive events and most certainly impressive people. Okay, but more importantly, the borough of Lewisham is producing works that will be impactful, is impactful upon our community. Okay. Some weeks previously, I discovered an internet personality, a YouTuber, okay, by the name of Kevin Samuels. Okay, some people may know of him already. I call his name because he has some controversy around him. Okay, and I've looked through many of his videos, going back 3 years or more now. Okay, where he was primarily speaking to men. Black men, African Americans, okay, about their general behavior and their relationship with women. And he was very hard and direct. In fact, I felt sorry for some of those men. But in more recent times, he started speaking to women. And at that point, his relationship advice, became, well, I think the word is, became viral. It went viral because he had some really interesting messages for women. And those many women found his words challenging, very challenging, but almost irrefutable. Now, unfortunately, I don't have figures for the UK, but I'm going to use America as an example, because I have been able to do the research and satisfy myself of the validity of what I'm about to say. The second most popular and sought after men in the world are black men. Second most sought after. In America, the men or the males who are most involved in their families are African American men, black men, most involved in their families, in their children's lives. I should say, forgive me, in their children's lives. African American men, black men in America, on average, earn more than women. I paused. I want these facts to sink in. I need to obtain similar figures. I want to obtain figures for the UK, for Britain. Okay, because I'm going to hypothesize that we have a similar pattern here in Britain. You see, the propaganda, the right-wing propaganda that seeped into our community has sought to denigrate, downgrade, speak about black men, African men, in manners which are quite disrespectful. Today, we're going to open the box on the truth about black men, African heritage men. Last weekend was Father's Day, okay? A powerful day, okay? And I thought about it, I would have had my guest last weekend, although I think my guest would appreciate to have that wonderful 8-year-old girl, the world champion, was worthy, okay? So let me turn to my guest, because clearly we're gonna open the box and tell the truth of what it is like to be a black man, a father here in Britain. Brother Aston of the Black Father Support Group, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you perfectly.
Wonderful, a bit more. Check your volumes, please. Keep talking. How are you today?
I'm you know what, I've had my libations this morning, and I'm in preparation of this event today. And I'm going to call it an event because it's always a beautiful privilege when the black man can actually come and speak to the community in this way, you know. So
without a shadow of a doubt. And we will speak with strength, with confidence, with directness, yeah? Okay? And assert ourselves as black fathers.
Exactly.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. So, Brother Aston, first of all, thank you for taking the time to join us this morning, okay? Note, my people, I refer to it being Brother Aston. Why? Because that's our tradition here. That we are but one family. Yeah?
Exactly.
Praise be. Okay? That's the Father Network speaking, okay? That's the Father Network speaking. I believe we've got one of your other members joining us today. I'm just checking.
Yes, I'm expecting two other members.
Yep, let's get them in, I think. Let's get them in.
Oh, great.
I believe we've got that.
Fantastic.
Okay, there we go. I think that's you, is it? There you are.
That's it.
Good.
Fantastic.
Can you hear us? I wonder. I don't believe we've got sound. Dapper, I don't think we've got sound for you. Don't know if you can hear it. Your connection doesn't have sound.
Yeah. Brother D?
You want to log off or turn on your sound? He hasn't turned on his sound. Oh, he's audio. Right. So we won't start yet. Oh, I think we've got it now.
Yes, sir.
Dapper? Well, I'm referring to Dapper, huh? Okay.
It's
terminology that I recognize, but the younger one won't recognize the term Dapper, you see. Greetings. Generation.
Greetings, Councillor.
Oh, here I am, of course, the motivator, where we translate our words into actions. Huh?
Good. Excellent.
Okay, let's get on with the interview because we want to, there's a lot to say today. And I mentioned Kevin Samuels, who I don't know if either one of you are familiar with the stats that he's quoted many a time, really insightful and truly inspirational. Okay. Today we're going to speak truth to power, as it were. Okay, we're going to speak truth to power. So first of all, Brother Aston, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, okay.
And Dapper, just make sure I've got the ooze Dapper, please.
No, Brother Derek.
It is Brother Gary. I just want to making sure.
Derek.
Okay, right, good. Thank you for joining us. You both are members of the Black Father Support Group.
Yes, we are.
And can you first of all tell us why does the Black Father Support Group exist? I'll leave either one of you to respond initially.
Brother D.
Thank you. Well, why it exists? I'll tell you a bit about the history of the Black Father Support Group.
We're not hearing you so well.
Support Group initially was started as a 6 weeks program roughly about 13 years ago. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, your
Hello.
roboty. Are you? If you could, I'm not sure your connection. Are you able to move? Well, maybe we start with Brother Aston. Maybe what you do.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
As Brother Derek was explaining, it came together from the idea of a sister, Sister Junie Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
And she was asking the question, why are Black men performing in the way that they are with the families, with relationships? And she started with a 6 weeks program of investigative questioning and programs. And that is how we initially came together. And I will tell you, I attended that event there, along with Brother Derek as well. And we there was at least 40 brothers in there, right? And through the process of our self-investigation over that 6 week process, it opened up that possibility of us coming together and in a productive manner, right? So we said that we would like to continue meeting, right? And from that, it just developed into a conversational evening. And then after a few years of engaging with each other, initiating projects together, we decided that we would like to start a proper organized group. And hence, I think it was about 8 years after, we elected chairman and a committee in that way, you know. Unfortunately, I was the first elected chairman at the time.
Yes.
And then we had Brother Marley, and then we had Brother Ray as well, and now we have Brother MX. So, you know, it's one of those things that is a organic group in that way there. Right. And you know, different ideas, different leaders, and I'm very proud that we are taking it, and it still has its momentum after all this time.
Brilliant. That's...
I'm back now.
Yeah, Brother Derek, yes. Yeah, we can hear you much better now. Yes.
Yeah, I took it off Wi-Fi.
Okay. Yes. So why does it exist? An interesting intro by Brother Aston. Can I get your perspective, please?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I won't duplicate what Brother Aston said, because I was missing for about a minute or so.
Okay.
But when I came back online, I heard him talking about, initially it started off as a 6 weeks program for Black men or Black fathers to come together and provide a space or a forum where they can discuss issues that affect Black fathers.
Yes.
Because when you think about it, where do Black men actually talk?
Yes.
You've got your own sort of social circles, families, friends. You've got the church, and you've got the barbershop. Those are the main arenas in which Black men converse. Mm-hmm. So the Black fathers, and I, as Brother Aston said, is quite strange that the initial catalyst for the Black Father Support Group actually came from a woman, Sister Junie. Yes. She's part of a group called Ubuntu. She does a lot of work in the community regarding mental health, and she works in the mental health profession. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, as Brother Aston said, it was started by Sister Junie, and she brought in a group of men who were quite active in the community. Okay. One was Professor Les Henry.
Yes.
There was
Everton Augustus.
That's right. Daniel Pink, quite individuals that were involved in the community, and at the community had their art and add the ethos of sort of empowering Black people, Black families, Black men, Black women in the community.
Thank
so
you.
over time, like anything, the group evolved, members moved on, new members joined, and as Brother Aston said, you know, over time, what we call the sort of founding fathers, the individuals who I mentioned earlier, they kind of went off to do other things, and the newer members of the group kept it running. And I am actually quite proud that to say, despite all the challenges we've had, after 13 years, you know, we can still say the Black Fathers group is still going. We still got a strong core of members. There's a lot of respect and support amongst the members, and we've got each other's backs. And we have to understand is that we're not the kind of group that sort of individuals meet outside the group on a social basis, like going for a drink, going raving, going this, going that. You know what I mean? We come together in the group. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And you know, yeah, as I said, I'm quite proud of it. But the main ethos of the group.
Okay, before you do that, before you do the main ethos, but Derek, was just an opening question, just to get some background as to why the group exists.
Sorry, I could talk forever. Sorry.
It's okay. Don't you worry. I'm under control. It's all right. Don't worry. So really important that the recognition as to why the group exists.
Okay.
Now you said for 13 years.
Yes.
I know you've had some trials and tribulations, but I know you have some problems, but I won't go to that just yet. What I want to do, if I may, is then look at the issues that you regularly are asked to discuss as a result of interaction with men, both young men, middle-aged and older men. What are the issues that are common that they want to discuss? Maybe Brother Aston first of all, then we go to you.
Well, I would say the most common thing that we come across, right, is communication, being listened to, being heard, right? Many a man who comes into that group has never been heard or listened to. They would join in a conversation, and they would go along and get along with whatever is the flow of the conversation. Wow. They don't express. They have a lack of self-expression.
Yes. Are you saying that with women or with other men from other communities?
We're talking about men.
Okay.
Men, Black men, especially. Basic. If I put it bluntly, they're living a lie. Okay. They're living a lie. They're not living into their truth. Right?
Yeah.
And then
unpack that for me.
Okay then.
Because you're saying
I don't want to get too embroiled.
It's okay.
Let me just do it briefly. When I say they're not living their truth, the fact of that they have covered themselves over with go along to get along conversations, right? Even going into relationships that they realize not too far into it that they don't really want, hence breakup of relationships, right? Because it's not who they really are. They're not living their truths. You understand? Right? They're not taking that time to, as we like to say, get to know thyself.
Yes.
Right? So they're not living their truth. So therefore, who are they going to be attracting? The person that lives the lie that they're talking about.
Wow.
You understand?
Yes.
Right?
Powerful.
And that is the basis of what a lot of men come there with. They come with possibly issues that that can be simply resolved if they take the time to actually understand their part in it, reference to the blame of the other person,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, why is their lives falling apart? Their part in it, in preference to the system, is against them. Yeah.
I understand you. I understand you.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So the first area is communication. And that, all relationships, it's such an important a factor to take into account. Not being listened to. Is it not they've not been listened to, or they don't know how to communicate?
That as well. Because they've developed that conversation of what sounds good, what is it that other people are going to be listening for, in preference for speaking your truth, whether it falls on a good ear or bad ear, right? But it's your truth.
Yeah. Interesting. We must come at this later on, but it's an interesting. You start off with communication, being listened to, how one expresses oneself, and I hear you on that. But it's always been a mild frustration for me in my public life, going back decades now.
There you go.
You have heard me many times, but
oh yes,
oh yeah. Anyway, they've not got there just yet, but we definitely need to go there. Communication is central. Okay.
Yes.
Brother Derek, well, what's the other area that you find that our men, black men like us and older and younger, tend to want to discuss within the group?
As the name says, Black Father Support Group. As the name says, sorry, Black Father Support Group. That's what we're there. We're there to support Black fathers.
Yes.
So, sort of expanding on what Brother Aston said in terms of communication.
Right.
A lot of.
Please, if there's another area that
I am going to expand on that. But as you know, everything starts from communication. So, a lot of black men come with relationship problems. Okay. And a lot of it, over the years, the majority of those problems has been access to their children.
Okay. Yes.
They have the will to want to have access. So, and obviously access to their children. Majority of those cases came from sort of stem from broken relationships, where they were in a relationship, the relationship broke down, and the female partner is making it very, very difficult for them to get access to their children, making them having to jump through a lot of hoops. And a lot of the black men want to have access to their children and cannot have access to their children. So that's one of, and that again, as I said, that's linked to a lot of things like communication, not necessarily one-to-one communication with the woman, it's communication in terms of gaining access to organizations, and how do you communicate with them? How do you conduct yourself with them? Yeah. So communication is key. So that's one of the things. Another area which I just should mention, because I don't think you probably realize, you probably won't touch on, is, well, two. One is we try to work on your mental well-being. That's what I've got to say. That's because that's the most important thing, your mental well-being. Yeah. And secondly, one of the things which when individuals come to a group where they don't realize, why they're particularly in a position they are at that moment in time, is due to their upbringing. Because a lot of us, a lot of us have been traumatized. One, we're all traumatized as African people, from my perspective. Many might not agree with that. But what I've realized over the years, being part of the Black Father Support Group, is that our upbringing, our relationship with our siblings, our parents, our environment affect the person we are at any particular point in time, whether you're 20, 40, 50, 60.
Understood.
There's a lot there's a lot of us who are still carrying issues which were developed in our childhood and never ever faced it, never challenged it, never found a solution to it. Hence, we take those things
into our adulthood,
like a rucksack,
yes,
through our lives, into our relationship with other people in the community, and into our relationships, and into our families. And that is the biggest problem, because we don't face up to what's actually going on in the back of our mind, because sometimes you don't know how to express it.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't even know it's an issue.
Yes.
And like I always say, this is one thing I always say: when you're growing up and you're in the playground and you have an altercation with another individual, if you're a male, the first thing you ever do when you feel that heat rising in your body is to clench your fists and lash out with your fists. And then what do girls do? Girls use their mouth and slag off one another. They don't necessarily physically fight. So what happens in a relationship 15 years on, when you're having an argument with your partner, the woman's giving it all the verbal, and you're getting pented up and you clench your fists. What happens next?
Yeah. Yes, I hear you.
Yeah.
It's profound, a profound observation. I need to, depending on what time you've got, we need to explore this. This is an aspect, particularly when you see our young teenage boys, and their behavior, that when it truly manifests itself. It's worthy of exploration. And I will come back to you, Brother Derek, and thank you for those interesting insights. If I may go back to Brother Aston in that case, and thank you for the communication, because that's such a powerful opening discussion point. How do you start that? How do you interact with someone who is outlined to you that communication, both not being listened to and an inability to express oneself properly? How do you support such a person?
Well, everybody's got this story that they've built up over a period of time.
Yes.
If I even yourself, you could tell me about yourself, right? And I will tell you now, 90% of what you're going to tell me is not going to be the truth. Right? I'm going to tell. I will tell you why. I will tell you why.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you why. Because just like what I stated, you've learned how to tickle the ears.
Yep.
Tickle the fancy of people so that they can hear, and then you can it sounds like you're embellishing, but it's not the truth. Right? Only 10% of that is what's the truth. And then the thing is that once you realize that, or you've been shown what you're actually saying, or possibly how you're saying it, right? Then you realize, wow, am I wasting my time talking here? And then it's the uncomfortableness of speaking into your truth, right? And what you will find is once you've learned how to speak into your truth, right, or communicate into your truth, one, you're not wasting time with speech or talk that is unimportant or unrelated, right? And you're more succinct, and the message gets through a lot more powerful.
Wow, this is interesting. So, just making sure I've understood it. But the support is for you to help men to explore their experiences, and to talk them through it. So, am I to assume that you've been trained to do this, or do you train other men to support men to do what you've described?
Okay, right. We have to go back again to when I initially started the program. And I'm going to be very quickly because I'm aware of time. When I initially joined the program, I had terrible communication with my children. That's the reason why I came. That's the reason why I went for that 6-week program, to find out why is it that I'm finding it difficult to even communicate with my children, right? And in that is what I discovered for myself, that although I was living okay for me, right, but my communication was atrocious, right? And then in doing that and listening to other brothers, right, I realized that I had no quality listening. I was very extremely dismissive of others around me, and at the same time waste my time in trivial conversation, like as Derek pointed out, carbon barbershop talk and everything like this, betting shop talk and antics and things like that. I wouldn't waste my time with that. But at the same time, I was depleting my communication time.
Sorry, but just to be clear, are you saying that you went into therapy to discover this?
No. Right, and this is the thing now. Mentorship, seeing how others were able to communicate in an effective manner, and that sparked my self-analysis, right? What I did then, I deliberately took it on myself to discover how to actually improve myself, right?
Okay.
In preference to just going along and just enjoying myself. So that is what I developed. That is how I developed myself, right? And noticing those skills. If, you know, with permission, I'll tell you the courses I went on, right? Is that okay?
In that. Forgive me for interrupting again, just making sure. So the self-actualization was because you recognized there was a problem, and being amongst other men allowed you to think through carefully the problem, and potential resolutions.
That's right.
What about the courses you went on to and what professional support you received?
Right. And so the courses that I went on was landmark education, right, which is a very extremely intrusive course, right? Also looking at and picking out mentors within the community, right, and asking them direct questions, right? How, when did they develop, what their teachings, and one of the most important things is to find out what their inspirations were, right? Always find out what their inspirations are. So even to become or start to become a prolific reader of materials as well. Globalization, knowing that you are able to be more powerful and more outgoing than what we are presented with even today, you know? And in that way, it's inspired me to be more active within the community, you know? So even with that, you know, it's like where I'm at today is definitely not the picture that I would be sitting down there, although I would still be smiling 13 years ago. Yeah.
Can I ask you just to pause there, because you've provided some really interesting insights about yourself, and really appreciative that you're able to share insights about yourself. So it's and I suppose what I want to do now is really look at the men who come to the Black Father Support Group.
You become very faint.
Yeah.
Oh, is that better? Oh,
that's better. That's it.
Yeah.
Interested to hear what has happened, how you support men who come along to the Black Father Support Group. So you've indicated you have got some training, but do you refer them on to other professionals, or do you do it, or is it that you've trained yourself to support men? And maybe, Brother Aston, I could put that question to Brother Derek.
Yeah, Brother D.
Okay, I think I think we should get like a bit of an overview on this.
Yep, go ahead. Yeah.
What we have to understand is that living in the society we live in, where African people, see, when I say African people, I'm talking about people from the Caribbean and people from the continent of Africa. We class ourselves as African people. We live in a subset of this society, and we function day to day in this subset, even though we have to come out of this subset to live our lives, i.e. go into environments with predominantly white environments, use the NHS and whatever. So we live in a subset of this society. And because we live in a subset of this society, what affects one affects another. And our experiences are very, 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 very similar. So you would find if you stop an average black man on the street and you start to talk to them, you realize that what they're experiencing is the same as what you're experiencing. And again, we must also remember, and the key point to all this is, we have not got a space, a forum where we're able to talk and be listened to, because that's key. Even now, as a 55-year-old black man living in this society all my life, where's my voice? Who really listens to me?
Mm-hmm.
The greater, like, for example, I go to work and I've been working in the IT sector all my life, majority. Even now, I don't think I'm really listened to. Are you with me? When someone sees you, do they see you as a man, or do they see you as a black man first? I think in the majority of cases in this society, they see you as a black man first, not as a man.
Okay.
That's just the way society is. Many will argue.
Brother Aston, because you're making some interesting pointers. And again, but I've been in public life for what, 35, 40 years or so. Okay.
Yes.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I said I've not been to one of your meetings before, and I really regret that. If I should have done it. And I will join. I gave a public announcement. I will join the Black Fathers Support Group. Okay, I think I should join it. Okay, but I would have just put it up a little bit though, because I'm hearing you. Okay?
The question you asked me was, how do we support these men that come to the group, and what experiences have we had?
Yes, yes.
So what was I alluding to?
I did want to just complete this point, and you can come back. In terms of being listened to and formed for us to express ourselves. You know, I think all of us here are from the African Caribbean heritage. Okay, right. So I hear you. Okay, but because of my public life, I've had to be exposed not only to a section of my community, but most of my community.
The whole, yes.
Now, I'm aware, particularly from us from the Caribbean, or indeed from the continent of Africa, okay, that we have institutions that we contribute weekly, in some cases daily, to ensure remain in existence. And this is the church, the mosque, and other similar forums. Okay. So I have to tell you that I'm aware of men's group in churches that exist in my ward, indeed in my borough of Southwark. I know they exist in your own borough of Lewisham, Lambeth, Croydon, and beyond, in North London as well. Okay. Similarly, in the mosque, there are men's group where men discuss those issues that affect them. Okay. So what I don't want anyone who is not in the community to get the impression is that African men have no place, haven't created forums for themselves. Because the Black Father Support Group is just one of many forums that I've encountered. Okay. But maybe what I need to do is connect you all up together. Okay.
Call and response. Call and response.
That's right. Yep. But it's an interesting one. But I just want to make sure that those who are listening don't get the impression that we Black men or men of African heritage do not have forums or have not created forums in which they can express themselves.
Correct.
Particularly interested in the Black Father Support Group because it's a non-religious environment.
That's right.
Exactly.
I'm particularly interested in it, and I've also am aware of its incredibly good reputation, really good reputation. Okay, so, Brother Derek, you continue. Okay, so one of the lessons I've learned in public life is not to make emphatic or global statements. I only say some men.
I tell you, let's get controversial now.
Go on, yeah.
Right, because you're a counselor, and the reason why you made that statement is because you had to cover your back for whoever's listening. Yeah, the Black Father Support Group is unapologetic in what we do. Yeah, we support Black men. Yeah, we don't affiliate to any political group. We don't affiliate to any religious group. We are Afrocentric at our core and our nature. So we support, we're here for the liberation of Black men, Black women, yeah, Black families. That's the difference between us and other groups. There's other groups in the community who say they're for Black families and supporting Black men, but with them comes the tag. And I suppose you could say we've got a tag. We're here for the upliftment of Africans. We don't say Caribbeans, we don't say people from the continent. We're here for the upliftment of African people. And I'll tell you why we're like that, because there's no other race that has suffered, that continue to suffer the way we're suffering right now, even in 2022. So that's our core. That's our core. It was very interesting a couple of weeks ago where an individual came to the group and we had the discussion, and basically what happens at the group, I should tell you like the format of the meeting, because what happens is an individual will come on a Tuesday evening. We might know they're coming, we might not know they're coming. Mm-hmm. And if they come to a meeting and we've got like a particular process or protocol which we follow, we all introduce ourselves. So basically, if someone could rock up, we might have an agenda for the evening. And if the core members are there, we follow our agenda. If someone comes in off the streets and they want to discuss issues which is affecting them in their life, we all sit down in a circle and we all introduce ourselves and say why we're a member of the Black Father Support Group. We tell them that whatever's discussed in the group stays in the group, and we'll be lucky over 13 years that is the case, because sometimes when someone opens up in front of you and talks about the issues which are affecting their day-to-day life, it becomes very, very, very emotional. Seen many grown men cry. And when
Brother Derek, say that again. Because I think just say what you said again, because it really is a profound experience. Did you say you've seen grown men cry once they start to express themselves?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Tell us more about this, because it's because there are many women listening to this, who believe that mom should not cry. No, it should be strong, powerful. I
tell you one of the incidents. I tell you one of these incidents that always stays with me. There was a gentleman that came to the group, and he was in his mid-50s.
Okay.
And what he was conveying to us, it was about the abuse he was suffering in his relationship. He talked about one incident where he was at a restaurant with his partner and they was having a conversation. His partner didn't like what he said, so she slapped him around the face in front of everybody else in this restaurant.
Gee whiz. And what did he do?
He didn't react to it, but this has been going on for a long time. And what you must understand about the Black Father Support Group is Like, for example, I always use this scenario, yeah, where like this is another incident that's happened where there was a gentleman and he was working hard, you know, trying to support his family or whatever. Um, he realized that tried to keep a roof over his head. He realized that he wasn't, well, he could see the signs that his relationship was breaking down, but he was there at working hard, trying to support the family. His wife had a relationship outside, well, she had an affair, I should say. And he came to the group and he was talking about the affair she was having. And he could understand why it happened. So when that happens, if you got a group of social, if that happens to most black men, they'll talk to their friends. Their friends would say to them, you know what, let her go. She's no good. You know, and she give you a bun. That's the word in the Jamaican community. She had an affair. She wasn't faithful. Yeah. You talk to family members, they might say the same thing. That but the person might say, you know what, I know why it happened. I'm willing to forgive her and try to make it work. Most black men would say, are you crazy? Your wife had an affair, you're gonna give her another chance. You know, so the group, so who does that person talk to? If you sit down in a forum where you got other men that looks like you, has had the same experience as you, and are willing to listen. And that's another thing I should touch on. When I first came to the group, I didn't know how to listen. When someone was talking and I didn't agree with what they were saying, the ears in the back of my neck started to rise up. I wanted to express my point of view. I didn't agree. I didn't know how to listen. I didn't know how to put my hands up and wait till my turn. Yeah, because I grew up with, I need to get what I wanted to say out, you know. But one thing the Black Fathers Support Group has taught me, and I'm still learning, but I still can tell you, I'm still learning how to listen.
Yeah.
I'm still learning how to have control. I'm still learning how to conduct myself in a forum and get my point of view and listen to other points of views and also be able to conduct myself within that forum. So I'm talking about so many different things, but I should make that point because a lot of black men, you go to a barber shop, yeah, and you sit down and watch our black men.
But Derek, sorry, we've got the point, okay?
Yeah,
and listen very carefully to you. But you're right, in public life, it's important to listen keenly.
Yes, yeah.
You're going to say, and I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. It is a big problem in my community. Okay?
Yes.
And I will come back to you later on about other points you've made, but I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. And I'm used to engaging my own community because we will be successful. And I say here on this show and other shows, success is ours for the taking. It's very much a mindset, but we've got to create that success mentality. But Derek, hold on for a moment. I'm going to go back to Brother Aston now. I want to encourage men to seek you out, Brother Aston. So how could a man, young man, middle-aged or elderly man, who feel that they would benefit from being a part of a secular group, okay, of men who are just discussing male issues that they affect black men, African men, okay, how can they contact you? What's the best route to contact you?
Well, if you're listening now, I would encourage you to go to the website of bfsg.org.uk. Right, that's bfsg.org.uk. Right, take note of the communication numbers. Right, and if you want to communicate with us even further, we've got a Facebook page, right, on Black Father Support Group UK, right? You can contact us through that as well, right? As I say, take note of the numbers, what's there to communicate with us. reach out, and I would also encourage, right, sisters, right? And the reason why I say sisters as well is that they are the ones who are bringing up young men, young women, right? Don't be afraid to come and speak with us or share with us the same experiences, because not only does it work from the man's perspective, but it works from the woman's perspective. And if you've got a young man that you are bringing up to be a man, right, you're going to need help or assistance or somebody probably outside of your circle just to communicate with, you know? So we could be that surrogate father, if you wish to call us that, you know, in that way as well. So, you know, we put ourselves in a position as being community fathers as well, in that way, yeah.
I completely understand you, and you most certainly will be seen as community father.
Mm.
If I may, Brother Aston, I'm not going to repeat the details you've just given out, just making sure that those who didn't have their pens and paper ready or their digital device ready, I'll now say it again slowly. So the Black Fathers Support Group website address is www.b, F for Freddy, S for Sugar, G, .org, O-R-G, .uk.
That's correct, yeah.
So the website is a really good website. I just happen to be on it right now. And I've got to tell you, it was a good read. It was a good read, okay? And can you just remind us, when do you typically hold meetings?
We have a meeting every Tuesday, right, from 8 o'clock to 10 p.m. That's our scheduled time, but we do occasionally run over according to the subject matter of discussion that evening. We also do public forums as well. We're aiming at this time to do one at least once a month in that way, because it's very important that we engage the community in there with the open discussions as well, you know. And as Brother Derek was pointing out, is that we don't have any religious or political affiliation in that way, but it doesn't mean that we're dismissing any political or religious affiliations in attendance in our meetings. You understand? So let's say bring yourself. Yeah, that's who we're interested in, is you yourself. Yeah.
Thank you, Brother Aston. Thank you.
Can I also say that we also have a cell phone, which I think the chairman has got at the moment, and the numbers on the website. So we endeavor. So if someone chooses to ring that phone, then the chairman will pick up that call and speak to that person on the spot. So I wouldn't say we're a 24-hour organization, but we do have a number, and there's been times where the chairman has had a call. Like, for example, the other day, the ex-chairman, I was speaking to him, and I said, what are you up to? He said, I'm going over to North London. I said, why are you going over there? He said, he had a call from a brother, and he's going over to see him to discuss his issue. I actually said to the chairman, when that happens, you need to let other people in the group know that you're going over to someone's house to discuss, or going to a public place to meet someone, because we have to also remember that not everybody in the community mental health is 100%. And we've met those individuals in the past. So to stick to a point, because I always go off the topic. So we've got a mobile phone, and which the numbers listed on the website. An individual can phone up. And also in the meeting, if someone cannot attend the meeting, we've also incorporated Zoom. So most meetings, there's also a Zoom link. So if an individual cannot make it to the centre on a Tuesday evening. They can come on via Zoom, and we can conduct a meeting that way.
Okay. Is it all right for me to give out that telephone number?
I haven't got it off the top of my head. It should be on the website. If it's on the website, you should be able to give it up.
To call if you want to contact the Black Fathers Support Group. It's 07375 945 591. If you wish to make direct contact with the Black Fathers Support Group, it's 07375 945 591. Okay, and I'll give it out before the end of this interview. Okay, so what I want to do, brothers, if it's okay with you, I'm going to open up the phone line now. Okay, I don't mind phone calls, but I've got a few more questions for you. So as we proceed, now, those of you who are listening, that my number is different from the other Galaxy pilots number. So it's my number to call if you wish to participate in discussions on this show. It is 0208 133 5616 to call the studio and to engage with our brothers from the Black Father Support Group. The number to call the studio, it's 0208 133 5616. Okay, and if you're viewing the program via YouTube or Facebook, you'll see the number on screen: 0208 133 5616.
Can I make a very important point?
Of course you can.
Which I don't think has been touched on.
Okay.
What we have to realize in society we live in is that the black family is under threat. And anyone who does not recognize that within our community, let's forget external people. I'm talking about African people. Yeah, that's what I care about. Yeah, not saying I don't care about society as a whole, but that's what I care about. That's what I'm passionate about.
But when you say under threat, in what form is the threat being manifest?
Well, the threat is being manifest in the sense that, okay, basically, if you look at the way the Black community is in Britain in 2022, if you look at it from another race perspective, looking at the Black community, we don't seem to get it. We haven't got it together. We haven't got strong families. We do not own businesses as a whole. We have our young children.
Forgive me for interrupting this time. This time I will need to interrupt. So of course, I have to say to you, because I hear this sometimes from part of my community, that when we say we don't own businesses, okay, and I said that's why I think I might need to come along to your meeting, but it's really important for me to say this. In Britain, we've got numerous examples of multi-millionaires in our community who are entrepreneurs. They do not gain the public recognition. That's all it is. Okay. Now, here in Southwark, we are going to hold a meeting of Black businessmen on the 30th of July. And I will cordially invite you to that meeting, where you meet numerous examples of Black entrepreneurs who are doing extremely well, but they're not household names. And I believe, going back to Brother Aston's original point about communication, I think that's really quite critical.
Oh, it's key. It's key.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's numerous Black entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
I know quite a few.
Okay.
But those Black entrepreneurs, they've done very well, and they've establish themselves, but it's not filtering down to the everyday Black individuals. You might have Black individuals who are doing well, Black entrepreneurs, but we still got the issues in our community. We still got young people who are going out there and killing each other. We still got issues where young people cannot function in the school, in the educational system. We still got high pregnancy of young girls. So in our community, we got young girls getting pregnant at a very, very early age. We still got the issue of Black people are in the menial and low-paid jobs. We still got the issue of the housing issues where, you know, a lot of Black people or African people are still in social housing. Like the other day, for example.
No, hold on a second. You said a lot there. Clearly, you're not putting that on the feet of our entrepreneurs. Clearly,
no. But what I'm saying is, all I'm saying generally is that. Okay, this is what I'm saying. Let me sum it up. Right. First of all, in this society, we have not got strong Black families.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's evident. And the key to the Black Father Support Group is.
I need to interrupt there. And again, you're making these big, sweeping, emphatic statements. I can show you for every one parent family two examples of Black men and women who are married and are committed to each other. Okay, for every one parent family, I can show you two parent families who are committed to each other. Now, I realize, because, as I said, because our communities has a series of segments to it, okay? They don't always talk to each other, often don't talk to each other, okay? And I understand where you're coming from. I used to live in Lewisham. That's where I grew up, you see. So I know Lewisham very well, very, very well, okay? And I understand where you're coming from, okay? And you and I need to do some rapping. We need to do some reasoning together, okay? Because once you see the truth about the community, our community, which is increasingly becoming prosperous, okay? Increasingly becoming assertive, increasingly becoming politically savvy. Oh, we have a call coming. Let me just take this call. Good morning, caller. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good morning, caller. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
One moment. Let me adjust the volume. Caller, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can hear you okay.
Brilliant. Can you hear them, Brother Aston?
I can hear him. Yes, I can hear Akram.
Can I have your name, please?
This is Brother Akram. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, go ahead. Do you have a question for them?
Well, basically not a question, but it's something I just want to be a little bit controversial because as you know, you've just heard about the situation in America where they think on abortion and so forth, right? Where they brought in the law on abortion. Now, I was thinking about it this morning. I'm saying, but wait a minute, don't the man have a say in this? I mean, the fact is, I give that woman something. Surely, I have the right to have it be manifested. Doesn't that?
Make an interesting point. Okay. I don't think any man here is going to disagree with you. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not going to disagree with you, which is why the Black Father Support Group is so important.
Yeah.
For us men to do this reasoning together. Okay. Put forward solutions. Do you have a solution?
Well, I mean, I have been to meetings of Black Fathers many years ago. You know, thankfully, one of the founding members of the ACU. he used to attend there very regular, and so he took me along a couple of times. Yeah, it's a very interesting organization, and I think it's vitally important for us to be able to having the conversation. And many of the things that they are complying with is the truth of in communication. The fact is, you know, we're a family. I mean,
Yes.
when man and woman gets together, they're a family, and basically communication is vital. And as I always said, you know, I mean, I have a wife. Why you go and talk to your friends and not talk to me first before you have any issue? If you have any issue, talk to me. I'm the first person that you should talk to, right? So that I can, you know, because if I don't know, how can I fix it? I'm the one that has to fix it. So therefore, it is important that I know. But unfortunately,
Absolutely.
with a lot of women, they tend to deal with their friends.
Yeah.
And then you get left out. And unfortunately, the sad thing is that many women, they use this child thing as a weapon in holding the man to ransom to say, well, okay, you've been bad to me, so I'm not going to let you see your children. But the fact is that no law should allow that such a thing to happen unless you're a physical danger to the child. But I mean, you know, no law should allow that, you know.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
again, it's vitally important.
But my brethren, I'm convinced that there's no man here who's going to disagree with anything you've just said. I suppose, in lieu of my guest asks you a question in response, are you a member of the Black Father Support Group? Oh, did you hear me?
Sorry, yeah, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
You're not. Would you consider joining the Black Father Support Group?
Well, I would, but the point is, I'm not here most of the time, and unfortunately, I said I have my hands full at the moment. But
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
it's you know, I'm out of the country, leaving in a few days' time, and
Okay.
you know, I won't be here, so it's no point in me.
I understand
taking
you.
on anything
Understand
more.
you. I'm going to ask my guest, what support would you want from a gentleman such as this, who's not in the country often, but recognize the importance of the Black Fathers Support Group? What form could his support take? You wish to do it. Brother Aston, do you wish to answer that one?
Yeah. I mean, I'm very familiar with Brother Akram over the years. I should state that I'm an avid Galaxy listener for many years, even before I became a presenter on Galaxy. But the thing is that having that international knowledge and on the ground information is extremely important, right? Always having that open communication of current news and affairs is extremely important, right? We should regard ourselves as being global aware, right? Because the thing is that the world is our oyster in that way. But if we don't know what's going on with our people in various places around the world, then we're the ones who's going to be living blind. You know, so I think that is extremely vital that Brother Akram comes and gives us his information, right? But the news is very important as well, you know.
Okay, thank you for that response. And you, neither one of you mentioned about how the group financially functions.
Can I say? I'll come in now, and I'll try to keep it brief. First of all, the Black community or African community is not ready for the Black Father Support Group. When I say we're not ready for the Black Father Support Group, the Black community are in blinkers. Yeah, there will know a group like the Black Father Support Group exists, but they will not support it. And there'll be an individual as a whole, because the black community is still sleeping. I'm really proud of the members of the Black Father Support Group and the trials and tribulation we go through. And at this point, I'll touch on funding. We're self-funded. We don't get any support from any organization.
I suppose.
Yeah.
At this point, then I suppose at this point, I'm really asking you've got men and women who are listening to us. If they wanted to donate, how can they donate to you, just to ensure you remain financially?
Well, within the group, let's just touch on certain things. But within the group, we pay subscriptions. The members of the group. We've got a treasurer who's very, very good, Brother Carl. We run a partner system within the group as well. I want to explain what a partner is. Who knows what partner is? Those who don't know, don't know. And we've got, I haven't got the details at the moment, but we've got a Black Father Support Group bank account, which if somebody does want to donate to the group, then they can phone the telephone number on the website and the details could be passed to them. And also recently, there's a couple of members of the group has gone on particular courses in terms, mum by a sister, I think in Bedford, is that right, Robert Aston?
In
anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
Enfield area.
Enfield, sorry. And we've always been looking into sort of income streams for the group. But the point I tried to make, or you mentioned to Brother Akram, is that I know for a fact, yeah, that the Black community, in terms of supporting organizations that can benefit the Black community, they're not willing to support it. And I'll tell you why I say that. Okay. Because
before you do
I've got different groups.
Hold on a second. Because you're making a series of really emphatic statements. Okay.
Fact. No, I'm telling you fact. I don't talk if it's not fact.
I don't. Very emphatic statements, which in my experience, and I meet not 10, I meet hundreds of organizations, okay, in which we are donating millions of pounds each month, okay. Now, it could be that the Black Father Support Group is not receiving much of that money at this stage, but I hope, and one of the reasons why I want to do this show with yourselves, and I know that Brother Akram is still listening on the radio, on the phone line, is that there are ways in which we can ensure that groups like your own, from a financial point of view, are become far more stable. And that requires regular donations, okay? Now, what I would do again, and I know that Brother Akram, if you haven't got it, but I'll just give out again for him and anyone else who's listening, if you wish to donate to enable the Black Father Support Group to continue for another 13 years. It's 13 years, sir? Another 13 years, okay. Give out the number again, okay? So the number to call, if you wish to make a donation to ensure that the Black Father Support Group can continue for another 13 years, it's 07375 945 591. The works of this group is exemplary. I commend this group to the community. And Brother Akram, you're still there? Can you still us? Oh, I think he's gone now.
Can I say something?
No, I am still here. Yeah,
excellent. Did you get that number? Did you get that number?
Yeah, I can get in touch with Brother Aston at any time.
Anytime.
But what I'm saying is that you see, the problem that we have is we have a lot of organizations, lots of them, and this one is we're committed to this one, and this one, and that one, and it's only so much that a person can give, if you understand what I'm saying.
Completely understand.
And what I'm saying is that that's why it's like everything else, and unfortunately for us, like many other people here, we don't have one funding for our people. one funding that can say, well, okay, we can go to this treasury and collect from that treasury because we are all funds into that one treasury. And that is our downfall, really.
Okay.
You know, because as I said, that is what we were trying to do with the cooperative, is to try to bring everybody to so that we all can be in one place where we can all say, okay, fine, we want something, we can go to this treasury and collect from that one point. You know, that
Brother Akram, I'm just conscious of time. And I'm going to get you and the Cooperative Union, African Cooperative Union, back into the studio, and we give further promotion to the African Cooperative Union, because you've made an interesting point, to which I find it difficult to argue against what you've just described, because it's just really common sense, really. Yeah, collective working is the only way forward. Okay, so Brother Akram, I'm going to let you go now, because I'm running out of time now, and I'm going to thank you for your call. Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Can I make a point, please?
Brother Derek, yes.
All right. I mean, 2 hours is not enough, because we got 30 years experience, and 2 hours is not enough. I'm going to speak on behalf of Derek, not on the Black Father Support Group, because not everyone else might agree with me. Okay. First point, we're not looking, but first of all, we've had the organization for 30 years with no funding. We're funding, in majority of cases, come stipulations, in terms of what you do with their money. We do not want nobody's money when it comes with stipulations. And when I say the point that the community is not ready for the Black Father Support Group, because I know, I'm very well known. I mix with a lot of black men. I move with different groups, some with 10 black men, some with 15 black men. You know, and over the 13 years, majority of these people, 99%, know what I'm doing, know I'm a member of the Black Father Support Group, and has never, ever attended a meeting.
Okay.
When I have discussions with them, they say things like, boy, how can man come to this group and talk about their business and so.
I understand.
Yeah, that's the majority. That's the majority of these individuals. So first of all, I should say that the Black Father Support Group is not looking for no handouts. We don't need anybody handouts. Last week, we done a family barbecue where we invited our friends, family, the wider community to have a big cookout up in Croydon at an organic farm.
Right. Okay.
We had surplus of food, surplus of drink. People came and eat and drink for free. Every single brother that contributed put their hands in their own pocket.
Good.
I myself spent nearly £200
good.
out of my own pocket, not asking for a penny in return.
Good.
We're the Black Father Support Group. We're unapologetic in what we do and what we're trying to achieve. And we do not need, if we get support from like-minded individuals, whether financially, whether in terms of their time, that's what we will, as long as it agrees with our ethos, we will willing to take that on board. And as long as I'm alive, like you said, for the Black Father Support Group to exist for another 13 years, it will exist as long as I'm alive. Even when I move over to Gambia in the near future, I'll find a way of making it work. But the truth of the matter is, okay.
I'm running out of time, so I'll let you speak, and thank you for that. That was very helpful. Can I just quickly return to Brother Aston now? And we now need to, I'm in the closing 5 minutes now. So
wow.
I want to engage with Brother Aston. Okay. So Brother Aston, so this has been a useful intro. I'm going to get you back in. Don't you worry. I'm going to get you back in. I want to address.
Don't leave it too long enough.
Yeah, don't worry. It happens this way. And I now understand Brother Derek. Okay, I can make a politician out of him. I tell you, boy. I tell you. Anyway, so let me come back to you, Brother Aston.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Don't worry. As I said, you and I need to wrap. Don't worry. We need to wrap. But Brother Aston, so the Black Father Support Group. You've been operating from the same location all this time. Okay. what is the future plan? Give us some idea of the future plans for the organization.
Okay, very briefly.
How can the community help you to realize that plan?
Right. Obviously, doing for us, do for self.
Yes.
Right?
Ubuntu.
We are at the process. We are right in the process right now. And we're going to be rolling it out in a few months' time. That initial program again of the 6 weeks investigative Black man program. Obviously, we're developing into the family unit as well, right? Over the years, right? Also, I'm going to say, anytime you see a Black Father support group and we're doing a community project, right? Get involved because it's here to bolster our Black families, the Black people, young and old of all ages. And we don't discriminate amongst ageism either in that way there. Utilizing our elders as well, because unfortunately the system throws you away at a certain retirement age, but you're not done. You're not done. You have plenty of life in you, and you are vital for the community in that way there. So, you know, we're looking to do that as well. So those are the things that we're going to be implementing over the next 12 months in that way, yeah?
Brilliant, brilliant. So we get to plan your next appearance here. We want to tackle issues head on. And I just want to just throw this at you both. Is it your contention that we should encourage young men, and indeed young women, to only have children when married?
The marriage.
Sorry, what was the question? Sorry, what was the question?
Only when married.
No, the old question. I thought it was a dog barking or some noise. I didn't hear the old question.
I don't know what the jog is, but so my question is it your contention that we should encourage young men and women to only have children once they're married?
Right.
Relationship.
Yes, that's it. I would state it at this stage as committed relationships, because there's many of us who are being disgruntled with marriage in that element. Stop it. I'm being distracted in there. Anyhow, right? And the fact is that if you are going to be talking about having children, know yourself, know the partner that you're with, and be committed to that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But is that your general sentiment as well?
Well, first and foremost, I should say that I've made my mistakes along the.
Go on.
I've made my mistakes along the path of life.
Hey.
And I think the most important thing is that parents need to speak to their children about relationships, forming partners, and get involved when their children actually are dating, I should say. And ideally, in an ideal world, then the answer to your question is yes. But on the ground, obviously, we know that's not the case.
I hear you. Thank you. And I knew that would be both your reaction. Because we need to build strong, committed relationship with our women so that the children are in a safe environment where the adults are cooperating, okay, and building together. It is those environments that generate and create good, well-balanced.
And also one thing that's important, and what we're not taught, is conflict resolution.
Can I ask you not to hold that one, because I've got we're all going to discuss future subjects we're going to tackle, and I would like you to become regular visitors, because there are big issues that affect us men, and indeed women, but us men.
Massive issues.
Yep, very big issues. But I've only got 4 minutes left, and I'm run over my time already. So what I want to say to you both, thank you. This was an interesting and useful introduction as to Black fathers, African fathers, taking control, okay? Tackling the issues head on and finding solutions, okay? Finding solutions. And I want to commend your organization to the community. And if you can, give them your support. If you can't go to the meeting, give them a donation so they can continue the work and to grow. Because they are committed brothers whose reputation precedes them. I'm proud to commend this organization, the Black Father Support Group, to the community. Brother Aston, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for having us. Yeah.
Brother Derek, thank you very much. Why, you and I got a rap, you know. Why? And I'm gonna expose you to so many people in our community. You watch me and see. Yeah? Anyway.
Thank you. Thank you for having us on the show. I was actually wanting to attend the studio, but time ran out. So I'm glad to technology, so I was able to communicate over Zoom. And there's too much to talk about, you know. So 2 hours is not enough. So, but I appreciate you giving us the time and the space to discuss the issues that we deal with day in, day out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, both of you brothers. Thank you very much. Live long and prosper until the next time we're together. And remember, this is the Motivator Show. Bye-bye, my brethren. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to do my closing credits now. Thank you. Bye-bye, both of you.
Thank you.
This has been the Motivator Show, where we translate our words into action. And I want you all to remember, success is ours for the taking. Yeah. It's up to us to be successful, regardless of the barriers that are placed before us. We will be successful for our children and our children's sake. So this is the Motivator Show. It's now nearly 10 o'clock. I want to just pass on to, I believe, Sister Jasanra, or Sasanray, whatever she calls herself these days. Yeah? Hand over to her. Let her take the mantle, take this next baton, and have a useful, inspiring conversation with the community. Oh, there she is. Oh, praise be.
Hey, excuse me, what do you mean, whatever she calls herself these days? Yes, yes, I mean, yo, Tata, my name's Sister Just Ra. And when I feel like I call myself Sister Just Re, either way, it has the same meaning.
Blessings to you.
Don't know. And if you forget my name, call me woman.
Oh man, all right. Yes, I am.
Woman. I can work with that. Or if you want to call me, you can call me sexy.
No.
Oh, okay. None of the sexy business. But anyway, like it. Oh, okay. I won't go there. Nice to see your face.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. It's nice to see you.
Continue the up for work. I was quite pleasantly surprised when I saw my brother in the studio this morning. So it's quite nice to hear the man them talking about issues that impact on men. So I commend you all for having that kind of discussion. And can I just lay something on your table? Cool. And I'm going to leave it there. And it's not that it's not a subject that I'm not going to deal with, but I think it'd be great to talk to our brothers about depression, suicide in particular. And as you know, that there was an international awareness raised this week. And I think it'd be really important to talk to our Black brothers about suicide and how they can get support. Because, you know, I think another brother jumped off a bridge this week. No, there's another one. Yeah. Right. So I just think it's really great that when our Black men can talk about the issues, stuff, the desperation that brothers are going through and the challenges, you know, it'd be really good to put that on the agenda. So I'll leave that with you all. But excellent work. I'm really commending that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to hand over to you now. Oh, gosh, this is very interesting. Blessings, blessings, and thank you all those who've listened and all those who will listen and watch the recordings of this program. I want to thank Brother Aston, thank Brother Derek of the Black Fathers Support Group. I commend this group to the community. Please give them your support. Praise be. I'm over and out. Let's hand over to Sister Shasan Ra. There you go. Blessing now. Blessings, blessings.